According to a recent MIT Sloan Management Review article, toxic work culture was the primary driver of the Great Resignation. The article went on to state that toxic work culture is 10.4 times more effective at predicting employee turnover than employee compensation is. I will link the article in the description box below. Hi, my name is Colette, and I created this channel as a safe space with you in mind. I help Black women to embrace new seasons of their lives with purpose and joy by pursuing resilience, practicing self leadership, specifically authentic leadership, and by pivoting towards entrepreneurship. If anything I said resonates with you, welcome to the community. We would love to have you. At this time, I'd like to encourage everyone to grab something to take notes with, get comfortable. We are going to talk. You're going to see me looking down as I move through the video. I don't want to forget what I need to tell you. So, I'm going to provide you with 21 signs that you may be working in a toxic work environment. Now, these signs are not set in stone and they are not in any particular order. And just because something I say is on the list doesn't mean, oh, you are in a toxic work environment. This is simply a sign or possibly an indicator that you may be in a toxic work environment. So, number one, limited promotional opportunities. Limited promotional opportunities can be a sign that you are working in a toxic work environment. However, there are some employers that do not have the capacity to offer various career ladders or promotional opportunities. Maybe it's the size, maybe it's the structure. There could be a multitude of reasons why promotional opportunities do not exist. But this is number one. Number two, infrequent employee appraisals or infrequent constructive feedback. This is important because people need to know what they're doing well as what they could be doing better. Number three, lack of employee acknowledgement or appreciation. People want to know if they did something right. And this does not have to be a long, drawn out process. Something simple as an email. Thank you, you did a good job. People just want to hear that they did okay today and that they are appreciated. Number four, unrealistic expectations. For example, expected to take 100 calls per day. However, each call, and we know this, may take 10 to 15 minutes per call. That is an unrealistic expectations. And it is a sign that you may be working in a toxic workplace. Number five, cliquish behavior in the workplace. So what does this look like? This looks like some people being on the inside, some people being on the outside. This looks like some people get information and other people don't get information. It could also look like favoritism, nepotism, cronyism. This cliquish behavior is an indicator that you may be working in a toxic work environment. Number six, gossipy culture. This is a indicator that you may be working in a toxic work environment, especially if the people gossiping are the leaders. Um, you have gossip, you have it in the workplace. It's everywhere. One thing though, my mom told me, and I never forgot it. She told me that a dog don't take a bone, bring a bone unless he takes one. There are bone carriers in organizations. Okay. And I'm not calling people dogs, but people who are bone carriers, gossipers, trust me, if those people are bringing you bones, they're taking bones. So if you are participating in gossiping in the workplace, then you are part of the problem and you're helping to create a toxic work culture. Number 7, high employee turnover. This is an indicator. Why? Nobody wants to work there. When you see people jumping ship, that's a sign that this may be a toxic work environment. Number 8, high volume of sick calls. People don't want to come to work, or maybe their body is manifesting things that's preventing them from coming into work. At any rate, it could be a sign that you're working in a toxic work environment. Number 9 is a big one, low employee morale. And when I say employee throughout this video, I am not just referring to staff. I'm also referring to managers. Everyone who works at the organization is an employee. When morale is low, to me, that is a huge indicator that you may be working in a toxic work environment. Number 10 goes with number 9, low employee engagement. Sometimes when people have low morale, they check out and they're in autopilot. So they don't engage. This is a big indicator that this is possibly a toxic work environment. Number 11, no work-life balance. All work. Everything is completely all about work. There is no room for you to take off, to do whatever, all work. Number 12, employee burnout. And again, I'm not just speaking of staff, I'm speaking of management as well. Employee burnout is a sign of toxic work environment. And it's also a sign that there is no work-life balance. So those two kind of go together. Number 13, poor or inconsistent communication. So what does that look like? That looks like you don't have stand-up meetings or staff meetings or unit meetings or management meetings, or when you do have them, they're infrequent. That's an indicator that one, the communication is poor, inconsistent, and two, it's a sign of a toxic work environment. 14, this is a huge one, dysfunctional leadership. Why? Because everything starts at the top. 15, it goes with 14, micromanagement. Why? Micromanagement is a type of a dysfunctional leadership style. I find that people who micromanage are either insecure, incompetent, or ill prepared for their leadership position. Okay. Number 16, an absence of trust. When there is an absence of trust in the workplace, this is a sign that this is a toxic work environment, or that may be a toxic work environment. Number 17, discrimination. This could be gender-based, racial-based, or other types of discrimination. When discrimination is rampant in a workplace, it's unchecked, and it's not addressed, this is a sign, and it's a huge sign of a toxic work culture. Number 18 sort of goes with 17, harassment. Harassment based on different things. It could be sexual harassment, it could be different types of harassment, look like bullying. This is a sign that this may be a toxic workplace. 20, for me, this is a big one. The organization or company policies and procedures are not in alignment with the practices. And I actually need to switch that. The practices, okay, of, let's say, leadership in that organization are not in alignment with the said policies and the written procedures of the organizations. When that is present in a workplace, this is a sign. Actually, it's a huge sign that this could be a toxic work environment. 21, and this one is very personal. It doesn't feel right. The work environment does not feel right. It doesn't sit right with you, with your body, with your spirit. And I'm not saying that this is 100% for everyone, but some people have that intuition when they know something is not right. When you feel that, you feel something down inside or in your gut, that may be a sign that you are working in a toxic work environment. So I've given you 21 signs that you may be working in a toxic environment. So you may say, Colette, well, what do I do? I cannot leave my toxic work environment right now. How do I survive it? So one of the things I suggest is to perhaps consider implementing what I call breathe. B.R.E.A.T.H.E. Breathe. B. Bring positivity to yourself and to your work environment, the area of influence that you have. Why? Because you're going to need that to keep your spirits up and to combat the negativity that is often present in toxic workplaces. Also, create boundaries, articulate the things to individuals, whoever it is in the workplace, about your personal expectations as it relates to how you want to be treated, how you want to be talked to, how you would like to be addressed. So B of breathe, bring positivity and establish boundaries. R, report toxic behavior and keep track of issues in the workplace that are toxic or harmful. And when I say report it to the supervisor or report it to the human resources department if the toxic person or person behaving in a toxic manner or creating a toxic environment is your supervisor. Again, you want to document everything. You want to track everything so that you have information should you have to rely on it later. And I have mentioned before Anne Marie, she has a YouTube channel called Bald Girl Will Travel. I will link her video regarding documentation in the description box below. In it, she gives clear information about how to document information. She also provides information on how to report things to human resources and what to expect from human resources. Um, Anne Marie was a human resources person. She worked in the industry for years and she currently is an human resources or HR consultant. So I will link her actual channel as well as the video below. But what I will tell you is when you're documenting, you want to document the who, you want to document the what, you want to document the when, and the when should include the day, the date, the time. Okay, and you want to document the who else was there. So you want to include all of that stuff. And I think I said the what. So the R for breathe is report toxic behavior and track it. E, empower yourself. Okay. You want to empower yourself by being educated about your rights in that workplace, being familiar with the employee handbook, being familiar with a union contract if you are in a some type of labor union, being familiar with any type of grievance processes, being familiar with any type of mediation processes, being familiar with any other resources that may be available, such as employee assistance programs, things that will help you to endure and to deal with working and survive working in a toxic working place. You also want to be aware of what's expected from you. What is your job duty statement say? And are you doing that? And this leads us to the A. Make an assessment of your own personal behavior, an honest assessment. Are you contributing to the toxic work environment? I spoke earlier of gossiping. Do you participate in gossip? Are you a bone carrier? Um, are you doing what is expected of you as it relates to performing your job duties? So, A, make an assessment and then just make the adjustments in your behavior if you find that there are some areas that you discovered that you need to improve on. We all have areas in where we need to develop and improve. So just be honest with yourself, do the assessment, and make the adjustments. So, T, okay, treat yourself as a priority. Okay, you have to treat yourself as a priority if you're working in a toxic work environment because it can be draining and it can be tiring and it can wreak havoc on you physically, emotionally, mentally. So make sure you're taking care of yourself, making sure you're taking care of yourself physically, that you're getting your sleep, that you're exercising, that you're drinking water, that you're eating properly. Those things will be very helpful in giving you the strength, the physical and emotional strength that you'll need to go to work in this toxic work environment because it is toxic. Okay, when you go into toxic areas in the real world, what do? They put masks on you, so that it can serve as a shield between you and the toxic environment that you're going to enter into. This is what taking care of yourself will do. It won't stop the toxic environment. No, it won't. But it'll help you to build your strength to deal with the toxic environment until you can leave. You also want to make sure that you are taking care of your emotional or mental health. I mentioned earlier employee census programs, EAP, some organizations have those. These are supposed to be confidential, and you can sometimes get guidance from the counselors that they have available through the EAP program. You may have to get a therapist. You definitely need to create, or I suggest you create and take care of yourself by creating a support system of people that you trust, trusted advisors. And I discourage you from including individuals that you actually work with in the job as a trusted advisor, unless you know 100% that this person is not going to share what you're going through with others. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to build up it's really building up your immune system to go into this toxic work environment. Okay, so that's the T. H, hang out with, and this goes back to the T, hang out with people who are positive and who build you up. You want to do this on and off the job. Why? Because again, working in a toxic environment is draining. It's really, really draining. So you want to hang out with just positive people. You don't want to hang out with people who are always negative, who are always bringing you down. Why? Because when you leave the toxic environment for the day or for the weekend, your strength has been challenged and you're going to need some time to rebuild that. So let's say you say, Colette, everybody around me is negative, which I think that's rare, but it's possible. Then you need to uh, be your own person to hang out with. You want to encourage yourself. David talks about that in the Bible. He had to encourage himself, and sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. So H and breathe, hang out with people who are going to celebrate you, people who are going to make you feel better. And I'm not saying this person got to, oh, here comes so and so. No, I mean people who, when you're around them, you feel And you want to reciprocate by making that person feel good too. And then E, I talked about it in prior videos. You may need to create an exit plan. That means really being wise, looking at some things, whether it's your expenses, whether it's your, new places to look for a job. Include maybe it means getting your resume prepared. It means looking at job boards. It may mean putting your feelers out, talking to people to see what's out there for you, because there are other things out there for you. Okay, you're not stuck. I get that we all have bills and we have responsibilities and we have things that we need to take care of, but know that you are not stuck in a toxic work environment. So, E, you want to start working on your exit plan, and actually execute that exit plan if and when you need to. So, I talked about breathe. If you are in a situation where you are working in a toxic work environment, I encourage you to implement breathe. Set your boundaries, report the information, empower yourself, assess your behavior and contributions to the toxic work environment if they exist. Maybe you don't contribute, but just do an honest assessment. T, treat yourself well, take care of yourself, take care of your health, take care of your mental health, your physical health. H, hang out with folks that are going to lift you up and not bring you down, positive people. E, establish an exit plan and actually execute it when it's time to go. So we've talked about these past few videos, some very heavy stuff. I do not want to leave without letting you know that I have provided some links to some resources that you may decide and you may find useful. One of them includes therapy for Black girls. I also found another channel, and the name of the channel escapes me now, but I put it in the description box. This is a lady who has a YouTube channel, and she talks about overcoming for Black women and dealing with a toxic work environment. So, you found this video helpful, please share it with somebody. Give it a likes up. I am going to be ending this series of Black Woman Get Out. I think I have one more video. If you want to stay in the know and be notified when that video um, comes out, it'll probably come out next week or this week, depending on when I get to tape it. Make sure you subscribe and make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you're notified. Also, if you have comments about this video or you have other signs of toxic work environments or other strategies for surviving a toxic work environment, please provide that information in the comments. People in the community could probably use it. So at this time, I want to thank you for watching, and remember to breathe. You are going to get through this. Absolutely. I guarantee it. You will. I did, and so will you. Be blessed.